Hi, welcome to the small shed and a very happy Christmas to you all. See you in a minute. Hi, welcome to the small shed and a very happy Christmas to you all. I'm sure, like many, it's not going to be the Christmas you perhaps had planned. I know we're suffering from not being able to see friends and loved ones this year, but let's just hope we can all get through this and see better times next year. I've not got a huge build today, but it's something totally different, and we're going to have a look up in the loft where I started this whole thing off. Now, excuse the poor light conditions, but I'm just up in the roof getting out the Christmas decorations, and you can see this is yet another future project, something that's been ongoing, needed for a long time. Our loft space is absolutely crammed with rubbish and railway stuff, but mostly rubbish. Old record players and things that we don't need anymore, and CD players. But in amongst it all, I was just digging out some jigsaws for my wife, and I came across a previous Christmas present that my son bought me some years ago, which I don't think I've actually ever made. So I'm going to dig that out, take that downstairs. No, it's all in its bags, and I'm going to have a go at making that. I think something different. See how we get on. Although I'm a bit older than 9 to 14, I might struggle with it. Right, so let's take a look and see what we've got in the box. Nine sets of parts, 4 tyres, some stickers, and a fairly comprehensive instruction manual. In fact, one of the two instruction manuals. Such is the size of the kit, it needs 2. So I think the first thing to do is make sure I don't lose any pieces. We'll undo everything on the tray. Right, cut the box open. Knife. So step 1, I need 1 of those, 2 of those, and 1 of those, and away we go. How hard can it be? Step 3. Get on well. 1 of those. Now this is a Ferrari FXX that was produced in around 2005, 2007. They made 30 of these, and they were essentially a track day car that was evolved from the Ferrari Enzo. And what happened was that they invited 29 of their best customers to buy one or pay for one, and these cars were essentially taken to the track on track days that Ferrari designated, and you were allowed to drive them at that point. They debriefed you afterwards and gave you all the, engine statistics and all that sort of thing. Essentially what was happening is that they were using the information as development for their own purposes as well. So not only were you driving a car that you bought that you didn't really own, you were doing a lot of research and development work for them as well in the meantime. Now, I mentioned that there were 29 of these cars sold and yet 30 were made. The 30th was presented to Michael Schumacher when he retired from Formula One racing. They gave him one of those and a Ferrari Enzo as well. So that's where the 30th one went. That was painted black, didn't have the stripes, and had his personal logo stitched into the upholstery as well. So that was where the last one went. Now, the reason my son had bought me this was that I've always had a love of the red cars from childhood, and I've pretty much followed both road and Ferrari team, F1 team cars all my life, if you like, through the bad times and the good. The times when the Italian Formula One team were typically Italian and just running around shouting and things broke and chaos, to the glory days of Schumacher, Jean Todt and Ross Brawn when they more or less became invincible, with Schumacher driving as well for several years. Like football teams, you get good years and bad years, and certainly they were the good years. And with the road cars, again, ever since the 50s, I've loved their road cars as beautiful things. They are works of art in my opinion. And I've certainly, up until probably around the 1990s, 2000s, pretty much when Enzo Ferrari himself died, from then on the cars have become like most other supercars today, that they are almost too perfect to love. It's the sort of the difference between a work of art and a photograph. There's just something that you can't bond with when something is totally perfect. So the fact that they cost a fortune to keep, or that they were unreliable or unpredictable, sort of was all covered over by the beauty of the things in my mind, and became something that, as I say, I've been very much happy with following for the best part of 50 years. I've always hankered after owning a Ferrari, but obviously it's something that is way out of the finances of the average bloke in the street. So I suppose this was an attempt by my son to get me at least a version that I could afford and could look at. I've never actually been a great one for Lego either. Again, it was something that came along too late for me. I started off in life with Meccano and Baco, which was the house building type set that was available in my childhood. Lego came along later, and obviously our children had Lego, so my only experience of building with Lego has been with the children, but I've never actually tackled anything quite like this as a full build on a big sort of model like this. And I suppose it's very much akin to doing a jigsaw, only that you've actually got something to tell you where all the parts go. The difficulty I'm finding with it is that it's finding the parts in the heap of bits that you've got. But it's a relaxing enough thing to take up half an hour or so at a time at night. very much, as I say, like just doing jigsaws, which my wife does, but I've never really got into. The other thing it'll do when it's complete, this is a 1/17th scale model. I've got quite a lot of Ferrari die-cast models that are 1/16th, 1/17th, 1/18th sort of scales, so it should fit in well with those. We used to get those more or less every year when we went to Italy. I'd pick 2 or 3 up and bring them back home, so I've got quite a lot of those that it will fit in with. We probably must have spent 20 years or so going on holiday in Italy, so again there's a bit of an affection there for not only the cars but the country itself. So as it comes together now at the end, it's looking a bit more like it's meant to. Its Lego models are never the most perfect in terms of looking the part, but it has been quite an enjoyable experience building it, and it'll be something else for me to dust. So the only real thing to do now is to take it and put it with the other models, and as you can see, it's something of an obsession, I suppose. And the worrying thing is that there's probably 2 or 3 more boxes of these models in the roof as well. So there we are. It was an interesting little build, something different to what I normally do, and quite enjoyable for the last couple of days of just bits of odd spare time. It's not the first kit of a Ferrari I've ever made, I have to say, but perhaps more of that tomorrow. So really all it remains to me to do is to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Now, we've had a Christmas present from the Christmas past. As for the Christmas future, well, nobody really knows, I suppose, at the moment. Things are so upside down. All I can do is hope that everybody stays safe, and that this time next year things will be a whole lot better. This is the Christmas Eve I'm recording this, and it does look like at least we'll be able to trade with Europe on reasonable terms over the next few years or so. So hopefully that's all settled and done and dusted, out the way. It won't please everybody, I'm sure, but you never will anyway. But as regards everybody's health, hopefully everybody gets through. As I say, you all stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you next week. See you then. Bye.